Well, Cowboy Jim here, just kind of hanging out in this otherwise not crowded room. I hope, hey, children, I hope you all had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. And here's hoping it was a happy New Year's. I kind of had one here by myself. I enjoyed. Oh, I wished I'd never learned how to be alone, but it seemed a lot easier for me to teach myself and learn how to be alone than try to talk when I was a kid, I stuttered so badly, and I learned how to counter that. They say Mel Tillis did too, and for me, it was speak slowly, um, throw a couple of words out there and suck a bit of air and breathe a bit and because when I was a kid, my speaking was almost staccato like it was hot and heavy, let me tell you, like Italian people speak or Spanish, South American. Oh my, French in many ways. Um, but I just learned differently, and jeez, them's the breaks, children. I hope you enjoyed the last couple of little videos about my mom and my dad. You know, there's only about one reason that you may have enjoyed either of those subject matters, and that is if you possibly may have been able to relate uh, to my experiences. And in the relating, you you may have occasion to understand how an older person has acclimated themselves to the bloody passing of time, and because children, uh, it's passing, and it's something that if you were as deeply into living as I was, you'll not have become aware of it. Um, I mean, when I first started my own businesses, I've had a few. I guess the first one was when I was 16. That didn't do so well. uh, the second one was when I turned 17. When I hit 18, I had one business. When I hit 20, I had one business in one town. It was flourishing. I had another business in another town. My little kid sister ran it. She's such a good girl, and I was bored on my days off, so I went to a realtor. I said, "You have a lot out there. No one's building in the subdivision." I said, if you were to sell me one of those lots for $100, I'd throw a house on it. I'm kind of bored. I have a day and a half off a week, and I I could put a house together pretty quickly. And I said I'd pay you the balance of the lot out of the final draw on the mortgage. And he said he hadn't heard anything quite that novel, an idea. But a friend of mine, he had taught me. Uh, we were speaking one day, and his first name was Bill. Some degree of notoriety, we'll not go into that. And Bill said to me, I guess I was, well, I was probably 20 and a half. And he said, don't you think it's time you bought a house? And I said, I'd kind of like to buy a house. I said, well, I don't think I'd ever qualify for the mortgage. Uh, he said, you don't? I said, no, I don't. I said, do you have $100 on you? I always carried, well, I always had a grand in my pocket. Yeah. My friends, they used to say, Martin, you have a golden horseshoe embedded in your butt. And boy, I'm kind of glad that I got a handle on my tongue. But I didn't have a golden horseshoe there. I had a father in heaven, and he'd suggest things to me. I'd be just driving down the street in the little town, Elmvale, uh, where I lived. Actually, I lived out at Woodland Beach, but God would say, "You see that?" And I'd say, "That's a bare lot." But I said, "I don't know if it's a bare lot or not. It looks like it's all kind of conjoined to that house that's way over there." He said, "It's not." He said, "You should buy that." I tracked the lady down. I did. I bought it. I mean, you walk on ice as thin as I've been walking on all my life, and you don't know what tomorrow's going to hold, and you don't know if you don't know. Anyways, my friend Bill, I give him the $100, and he dropped back in the next day. He said, "Well, you got a house." I said, "Well, that's pretty cool." He said, "Want to see it?" And I said, "Well, sure, I wouldn't mind." And my first wife and I, we we headed out there, and sure enough, it was a nice little house. And I thought, well, I'm seriously bored, so gee, I needed exercise, so I dug a basement under the house with a wheelbarrow and a pick and a shovel. And I think I know the most wheelbarrow loads of clay, blue clay, that I broke up with the pick, and I shoveled onto the wheelbarrow, and I wheeled her out with 52. Uh, 52 wheelbarrow loads on my day off. Uh, and I enjoyed that. I enjoy doing what people say can't be done. And I don't know if you're kind of at that place or have been or shy away from it. I I I don't mind being told what to do. Uh, I rather enjoy people suggesting that you might look upon this situation and consider an alternative plan. That's a lot better than them telling me not to do something, unless it's their authority. They're my employer. I never had an employer, not until I turned 67. I was always self employed. So, so, Bill got me my little house since 1970 and a half about. And I said to him that winter, I said, I notice you have a little Corvette parked in front of your garage and it's all covered in snow. He said, yeah, my banker thinks I should sell that. I said, well, What do you want for it? Well, it's 2 years old. He said 4,500. I said, man, I wished I had 4,500 just to put in your hand. I said, I'd kind of like that. It looks like a hardtop convertible type thing, isn't it? He said, yes, it is. I said, standard? He said, no. I thought, oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Not a standard. But anyways, I thought, well, why not? He said, do you have $100 on you? That had a familiar ring. And I said, I do happen to have a spare 100. I said I could. Well, I didn't even finish the sentence. I already had the $100 bill out of my wallet. Still enough left in there that probably the rest wouldn't feel lonely with that one going. He said, well, this is 1970, so I'll probably be able to tell you what he said. He said, when you go home tonight, he said, would you take that for sale sign down that you have? Because you see, I'd just about done what I needed to do with that house. I was getting bored. I needed, so I went and talked to the realtor, remember, the $100. And, well, I built a house on my days off, and then I built another one. But anyways, the Corvette had an awful lot of appeal to me. So when I went home, I took the for sale signs down, and I said, what's the game plan? Yeah, he says, trust me on this one. I said, well, you've never steered me wrong. He and I, we took judo together. Oh, man, he had short legs, but he had a powerful upper body. Oh, my goodness, that man could throw you around pretty hard. I knew what that was like. I'd experienced a bit of that over the years in martial arts and whatnot. So the next day, he late in the day, he said, well, I dropped in. He said, well, handed me the keys to the Corvette. I said, what did you do, brother? He said, well, I increased your mortgage. All you have to do is drop into the office and sign the papers. I said, that's pretty smart. He said, well, actually it is. You're trying to sell the house, and you don't owe enough on it to make it easy for someone else to buy it. So by increasing the mortgage by $4,500, you increase your potential market to sell that home. And I thought, well, the next one's blessed near ready to move into. I said, not a bad idea. And I guess that was part of all my friends. Oh, Jim. I mean, geez, 3 years I had a 70 Chevelle 454 4-speed, 70 GTO 455 4-speed, 69 Nova, 71 Corvette. Boy, I held on to that little puppy. She was a nice toy. Of course, I had to have a pickup, so I had one of those. You know something? It doesn't matter what you had. It doesn't matter where you've been. It matters what you are. You have to ascertain what you are, where you hope to be next year or the year after. You and you alone hold sway, S-W-A-Y, sway, Old English, over who and what you are. You may have been denigrated as much as I have. I doubt it, but you may. And it doesn't matter how many times you've been hit. I have only been beaten in judo when I was 14. That was a bad one. Boy, I tell you, that was a bad one. This past year with that abuser who I let him I let him beat me. Didn't raise a hand. If I had raised a hand, I could have taken his throat out. I could have. See, I was taught how to kill with my hands in self-defense or in anything else. But I was also taught by a mother to love, to honor God. What goals do you have? What's your inspiration? Your motivation? Well, mine is not to get even. I don't get even. I don't go looking to get even. Perhaps that's a better way of saying it. Who am I to determine what is even? If your reputation as mine has been denigrated, mocked, because I choose to believe in an entity bigger than myself, an entity who I call God. I don't like religion, you all know that. I don't go to church. Some good churches, if I were near Calgary, I'd go to Center Street Church, I guarantee you that. Used to. But I just am me. I'm just me. And I don't need to be accepted by people in order to establish my own self-worth. My self-worth is established by God, His Son, and my old mother, who taught me everything she knew. She taught me to be a man because she knew how a man should behave, and she made sure that I walked in that. Children, this is a new year. I won't ever forget last year. Worst and the best. Worst, I learned what elder abuse was. I didn't even know I was elderly. Boy, I tell you, the day I looked into that woman's eyes who called me Cowboy Jim, my life has not been the same. Won't ever be the same. I'll tell you this. Sometimes we set out to head in a direction, and it can be a very hard direction. It can be a direction that does not want to relinquish its culmination, its destination, where it's leading to. Well, I tell you, if you have guts, and you can look in the mirror and not be ashamed of what you see. It's been hard for me because I run my mouth pretty hard. Pretty hard. I back it up too. Not too ashamed of the things I've done, few. But if you get to be 72 and you still have friends that you can count on one hand from before 1970, you're pretty blessed. And God bless you. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Consider my God, His Son. Consider the little children who are abused, hard, pressed, hurt, and the ladies, and the rare occasion of man, they don't admit it much, who have been hurt. God bless you. God bless you.